This Saturday night, NXT Takeover 25 from Bridgeport, Connecticut. At least one time this week, we're going to get a damn good wrestling show and probably one of the best shows of the entire year. And that, everybody, is undisputed. Right here for NXT on Off the Script.
Delete! This is mine.
Alive with it. People still Man, was there anything that happened in the community today? Did anything interesting happen in the wrestling community today? Monday Night Raw was garbage. SmackDown Live was garbage. NXT was uneventful for a go-home show. We got off the script on Friday. People are still talking about All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing from Las Vegas. And then we got Jon Moxley burying WWE Creative. Oh, that was the thing that happened today. Oh, yeah. Everybody wants my thoughts on Jon Moxley. JD, what do you think of Jon Moxley burying Vince McMahon? JD, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What have I been saying for the last 4 or 5 years? What have I been saying to you guys? JD, you're going to do an extra on it. What could I possibly add on top of what I've already stated? It was a fantastic sit-down. I loved it. We're going to talk about it, not tonight, but we're going to talk about it on Friday for Off the Script, episode 276. I loved it, man. It brought a huge smile to my face just to hear, man. It usually brings a huge smile to my face when someone is burying WWE Creative. I love it. I absolutely love it. We're going to go over all that on Friday, but again, I have to reiterate it here. I have to mention it again to everybody that might not know what's going on. If you missed anything with this Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho interview on Talk is Jericho, you need to go and dedicate an hour and a half of your life to listening to this thing. It's fantastic. There's nothing but unadulterated just fucking pipe bomb for an hour and a half. It's fantastic. And I love the fact that Jericho didn't even hesitate with anything. He got right into the show. He literally gave Moxley the stage and he let him go off and say whatever the hell he wanted. Absolutely great podcast. You guys got to go check it out. Talk is Jericho, Jon Moxley. Fantastic listen. Speaking of fantastic, we have NXT Takeover 25 on Saturday night. Some of my favorite shows of the entire year are indeed takeovers. We're going to go over the entire card, which is 5 matches. We'll go over the quick preview and predictions of each and every match tonight, on top of the news and rumors that I do have for NXT, and the very lackluster TV taping that was tonight from Full Sail, the go-home show for NXT Takeover. We'll get into all that, man. It's going to be a busy night. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am JD. We had a fantastic week because of AEW. We had a fantastic Monday. Over 220 new subs gained. Close to, I would say, 400 for the entire weekend. Maybe over 400 for the entire weekend. Double or Nothing weekend. Great shit, man. Thank you guys so very much. If you are new around here, thank you guys for all of your support and joining me on this journey with Off the Script. Thank you guys for everything that you do. And if you need to follow me on social media, please go and do that. At JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. Very important that you do so, man. It's the best way to keep up to date on literally everything that is Off the Script. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. And Patreon, if you guys want to support the podcast through Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you missed any of my videos this week, yes, please save us. Triple H. Signs were confiscated from SmackDown Live. And this is something that we'll talk about as well on Off the Script. There was 2 signs in particular that they confiscated. One that said, "You are not MJF," and "Please save us, Triple H." So WWE acting as if they are the crabby old man sitting in his rocking chair who doesn't want to be bothered by anybody. It's disgusting, man. They are coming off as so uncool. It is not even funny. So Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, both miserable shows. I cover them in depth as always. Go check that out. My interview with Private Party, both Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn from StarCast, Double or Nothing Weekend, that is live on the channel as of this afternoon. If you guys missed that, it's a very fun interview in which it was unprompted. It was completely out of the blue. MJF got carried out of StarCast live during the interview. You cannot script these sort of things. It just happened, and it happened during the interview with both guys in Private Party. And if you guys missed my Double or Nothing review, it is also on the channel. Everything you need is in the annotation, that little eye right in the top right corner. Drop that down, and it will take you to wherever you want to go as far as videos you might have missed. And, man, thank you so very much for all of that. Man, Sami Zayn mentioning AEW on Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about this as well. A lot of people going back and forth on if Sami Zayn did it and went off the script, or if it was planned by Vince McMahon. Well, we'll go over, man. It seems like people can't grow a fucking brain in the community. Oh, Sami Zayn went off the script. No, he didn't. If Sami Zayn went off the script, he'd be fucking fired by now. So I got to reiterate and put my stamp on that on Friday as well, man. It's going to be a big show, so you guys got certainly that to look forward to. But let's hit the news and rumors right now, man. First of all, I want to start off with this Road Dogg story. Road Dogg, you guys know Road Dogg took a leave of absence from the main roster. He is no longer on the main roster. He's no longer the head of creative, quote unquote. There really is no head of creative outside of Vince McMahon, but he was a part of the creative team. He was a major player on the SmackDown Live creative team. Then news came out saying that the creative teams on Raw and SmackDown are the same. There was no separation between creative writing teams. Whatever happened on Raw was also happening on SmackDown. The same people that worked for Raw were the same people that worked for SmackDown. Meanwhile, the creative writers wanted to separate themselves from Monday Night, and they wanted SmackDown to be its own entity. Vince McMahon clearly didn't want any of this. Plus all the added frustration that Road Dogg was feeling, and all of the shit that they would write would be changed by Vince McMahon. You guys heard the stories. We went over this already. So Road Dogg took a leave of absence, and it was reported that nobody would know when he came back, or when he was coming back, or if he did come back, what role he would have. He was certainly not going back to the creative writing role. So now PW Insider is reporting that Road Dogg is now working full-time with NXT. You expected me to say AEW, right? He's working full-time for NXT. Of course, his boy is in charge over there, Mr. Triple H. Now, his exact role was not specified, although he was spotted during an NXT Combine. I don't know what the hell that is. I have to look that up. Apparently, they're doing some backstage filming at the PC. And they got these documentary-type videos going up on the PC channel on YouTube. So I got to check that out. I have not had an opportunity to check that out yet. He started working at the Performance Center recently, and his official job appointment has been reported to be confirmed. Now, Brad Shepard actually touched on this as well, outside the sources of PW Insider. He said on his Oh You Didn't Know podcast that the fans aren't the only ones who are unsure about what Road Dogg is doing, because there are also those in the company who don't have any idea what is going on. He says, and I quote, "There's still some mystery surrounding Road Dogg's role in NXT after quitting his lead creative role on SmackDown. The only thing that I was told is that he is indeed one of Paul's protected buddies, as it was put. It's kind of interesting. It's a difficult job, and internally not everybody knows what he is doing, but he is working with Paul in NXT. Well, I'm going to say this. It's none of anybody's business now what he is doing for NXT. And clearly, he would be working in WWE in some capacity, and I even noted that if he's coming back to WWE, it's probably going to be right next to Triple H, right next to Shawn Michaels, and right next to everybody else that Triple H has assembled as a part of his team in NXT. Too many people have already quit. Dean Malenko and Arn Anderson was fired, and everybody else wants out of WWE. Billy Gunn is already in AEW. He has been quoted saying that he is so excited. He was filmed for being the Elite. They showed backstage in Gorilla with Cody sitting on the headset next to Tony Khan. Billy Gunn was right there. Billy Gunn's going to have an integral part in producing and as being an agent. And just using his mind to make the product over there a lot better. Triple H doesn't want that. Nobody in WWE wants that. How does it look that Billy Gunn was inducted into the Hall of Fame with DX, and now he's working for the rival? Triple H doesn't want another one of his guys going over. They're one of the best tag teams of all time in the New Age Outlaws. He didn't want Road Dogg going over to AEW. That would be fucking foolish. That would be foolish. And after listening to Dean Ambrose or Jon Moxley today on Talk is Jericho, money isn't the most important thing. Everybody just wants some sort of happiness. Everybody wants to be fulfilled. And money isn't the one thing that's going to be fulfilling. Moxley talked about, I don't give a shit if they offered me $10 million. I would have turned it down. What the fuck am I going to do with $10 million? What, am I going to go out and buy a Maserati, he says? My house is paid off. My parents' house is paid off. I got no bills. I'm not in debt. What else do I need? What else do I genuinely need in this world? I just want happiness. I want to do what I love to do, what I was born and put on this earth to do, and I want to create. Triple H clearly was going to take Road Dogg and put him on as a member of his team. Road Dogg probably felt the same way that Moxley felt. He couldn't create. And in NXT, he will have a say, and a say that is heard and is not ignored. So I'm happy for Road Dogg. If Road Dogg is in NXT, maybe we'll start seeing some of that creativity that was stifled and buried on the main roster. That creativity that was not used on the main roster. Maybe we'll see it in NXT. But it's none of our business what Road Dogg is doing, as long as Road Dogg is fucking happy. That's all we should concern ourselves with. Doesn't matter what he's doing. He could creatively write. He could be an agent. He could be a fucking intern. He could go get coffee for everybody in the back. I don't give a fuck what he's doing. If he's going to be serving coffee in catering and for everybody on the fucking production team, he is probably the happiest fucking coffee pourer there is. Because he's not working under Vince McMahon in the fucking chaos that is Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. That's all anybody wants is fucking happiness. Good. Good. I hope he finds himself again. I hope he finds himself renewed. I hope the time off from whatever he was doing on SmackDown Live was beneficial to him. And I hope he can get back to doing what he loves, because clearly he loves the business. And now he could probably get back to work and have his work mean something. I'm happy for him. So if anything is shed on his new role, I'm assuming it's going to be a part of creative. It's going to be producer/agent. Whatever it may be, as long as he's happy he's doing it. There was a rumor that WWE almost held Takeover 25 in Saudi Arabia. I think I almost vomited when I read this story. That would have been completely fucking terrible. That would have been horrendous. I can't even imagine. Now, there were reports that WWE was going to use the name Sands of Time. WWE clearly didn't use that for what is now known as the Super Showdown in Jeddah. Jeddah? Where's Jeddah? Oh, it's in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that's right. Saudi Arabia, which you won't mention on WWE TV. We gotta know it is Jeddah. So if you didn't take a fucking geography class, you're shit out of luck. You might not know where Jeddah is. But WWE renamed what was supposed to be Sands of Time to Super Showdown. Now, the Sands of Time was floating around on social media. It was floating around in the dirt sheets. It could have been NXT Takeover, Sands of Time. That's the first thing that I thought of when I read this story. NXT Takeover 25 was almost held in Saudi Arabia. Mike Johnson actually reported this on PW Insider Elite Audio. He heard a rumor. WWE almost moved the NXT Takeover event to Saudi Arabia to make the Super Showdown event a 2-night event. Thank Christ that didn't happen. It says, and I quote, I heard an interesting rumor this week, and that was actually talk that TakeOver was going to take place in Saudi Arabia the night before Super Showdown. I think NXT dodged a bullet by that not taking place because I think it would have put a heel dimension to the brand, which has always been a babyface brand to the WWE audience. If that was the case, they really dodged a bullet in this one. End quote. That's the last thing we need. Bringing an NXT TakeOver show to the people over at Saudi Arabia who don't even give a shit about what the fuck is going on with the Super Showdown event that WWE main roster's putting on. You're going to put Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. You're going to put the Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze on for the fucking Prince of Saudi Arabia. You know, when I watch these shows, I want it to have the essence of what makes NXT special. 50% of what makes NXT special is the fucking live audience there. When I look back at NXT TakeOver New York, that main event of Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole and everything that happened in that particular match, it would not be as epic as it was without everything just being aligned. Mauro was on. That was the best match I think Mauro has ever called in WWE. The performances obviously by Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. But a huge chunk of what made that match so special was the fucking crowd and the audience. Can you imagine a Saudi Arabian crowd for a TakeOver show? Are you out of your fucking mind? If this was an actual thought, this clearly wasn't a Triple H thought. This was not a Triple H decision. This was probably a Vince McMahon executive call. And thank God this didn't happen. That would have been fucking terrible. And we've had a string of 25 takeovers. Not one has been bad. We could have possibly looked at, not because of the in-ring standpoint, but we probably could have looked at TakeOver 25 as being the most lackluster takeover that WWE has ever produced. Because of it being in Saudi Arabia. Thank God. So when you sleep well at night, I want you guys to pray that this did not happen. Now, Bridgeport, Connecticut, I think they'll bring it. A lot of people that I know are actually heading out to the show. So it is still kind of, a New York type crowd, So it's not really a Brooklyn crowd, or it won't be a Madison Square Garden crowd, but listen, Bridgeport, Connecticut, bring it. I believe in you guys. Hopefully it's a good show as far as a fan standpoint goes, but that is just awful. TakeOver 25 in Saudi Arabia, man. My fucking goodness. Thank God. Sweating over here. Final piece of news, man. Some sad news, but thankfully it was bad news that turned into good news. Rachel Evers, who was recently signed to NXT, was in a really, really, really bad car accident. She is okay. And she was actually hit by a drunk driver coming out of the PC. She was leaving the PC and I believe on her way home. And she got hit by a drunk driver. Rachel Evers updated her fans on Twitter to let them know that she was involved in an accident today. Today, there was a drunk driver who pulled off a hit and run. And what he didn't count on was hitting Rachel Evers, an NXT superstar, who actually tried to fucking run after the vehicle so that she could snap a picture of him and the license plate. And if you go to her Twitter, you'll see that she snapped a picture of him and the license plate. And it's fucking crazy. She says this, and I quote, "Let me start by saying I am okay. I was hit by a drunk driver today on my way home from the PC. Hit and run. I'm extremely thankful it was my passenger side that was hit. Some people aren't so lucky, so please don't drink and drive." Side note, as he drove off, I ran after him and got the best pictures of both him and his plates. I love a good cardio challenge. Man, that woman is a fucking saint. I would have been a nervous fucking wreck, and here she is making a... She's very lighthearted about it. And I'm glad that she got a picture of this fucking clown, and I'm glad she got a picture of his license plate, and I'm glad that she's okay, most importantly. That is awful. So let's hope that they find this fucking clown, and they do what's right. And he is jailed and his license suspended for a very long time. Don't drink and drive. Don't know what time of the day this happened, but he must have been coming out of happy hour at some fucking bar down in Orlando. Very sad indeed, man. Very sad indeed. Please don't drink and drive. Please don't drink and drive. Call a fucking Uber. Don't put anybody else's life in fucking danger because you're a fucking alcoholic. You fucking clown. Rachel Evers, daughter of Paul Ellering. Actually dating Cassius Ohno too. Not sure if you guys are aware of that. I hope she moves past this, and I hope that she comes back better than ever. And there's no lingering or lasting effects, and I hope this fucking asshole is taken to justice and his license is suspended. And we'll move on from that. audibletrial.com/offthescript, man. Please go out there and support my sponsor, Audible. You guys know the deal with Audible. 30 days free of their service, and that includes one free audiobook of your choice. What you gotta do is simple. Download the app. iPhone or Android devices. It's free in the Apple Store or the Google Store. Google Play. You're gonna use our unique link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. You're gonna go through the sign-up process. You will not be billed, by the way, goon. You will not be billed. And you will have 30 days free of Audible service. And as a thank you for signing up, they're gonna give you one free audiobook of your choice. Now, this is the best part. You're going to get 30 days free, you're going to get a free audiobook, and you're going to have fun with it for the next 30 days. The first month is free. And if you feel like Audible is not for you, and you decide this in day 1, it could be day 6, it could be day 17, it could be day 30. If you guys feel like Audible is not for you, you can cancel at any time. You will not be billed, and you get to keep the audiobook for free. Can't beat that, man. Just for listening to Off the Script, you can't beat that. audibletrial.com/offthescript. NXT presents Takeover 25 on Saturday night, 7 p.m., Bridgeport, Connecticut. I love the NXT Takeover 25 theme. 25 NXT takeovers. Every single one of them has been quality. And I am very happy with the card. I don't want to come off in a way in which I'm not happy with the card, but NXT has legitimately turned what feels like a rushed build into a damn good fucking show. And I'm sure they will not be handcuffed. They will not have anything else to worry about. They will not have Vince McMahon wanting Triple H to water down the NXT product so that it doesn't outshine the main roster. They are all by themselves in Bridgeport, Connecticut on Saturday night. They have to answer to nobody. They have to answer to nobody. But I do feel like the entire build for this particular show was rushed. That's why we're getting a Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole rematch. It wouldn't really make much sense to build up another challenger for Johnny Gargano so quickly, being that the turnaround from TakeOver New York was so quick. Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong, we're getting that. It's tying into the Undisputed Era storyline that's been playing out on NXT TV. That's why we're getting the Velveteen Dream defending the North American Championship against an OG in Tyler Breeze. No sense or no use in giving Velveteen Dream somebody to merely go over and bury. You gotta make everybody look strong. So there's a reason that's happening. Then we got the tag team title situation. Clearly WWE is trying to make it as exciting as possible with the War Raiders being brought up to the main roster and then ultimately disappearing into the fucking vortex that is known as the main roster. Awful. I don't know where the fuck they are. I really don't. I'm about to put out a fucking missing persons ad on social media. Have you seen Hanson and Rowe of the War Raiders? I don't know what the fuck is going on. Maybe they had their Viking vessel crash into a fucking iceberg on the way to Iceland. I don't know. Where the fuck are they? And you take the NXT... This is what I don't get. You take the NXT tag team titles off of them because they're on the main roster now. And now they haven't been on the main roster for 3 weeks. So looking back at what happened with the NXT Tag Team titles, is anybody questioning what the fuck is going on here? I would love to know why they are not on TakeOver. They could have dropped the titles to the Street Profits. They could have had this match at TakeOver. If you weren't going to use them, then why aren't they on this show dropping the titles to Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins? Do you see why I get so upset? Man, I couldn't wait to fucking unleash that one. I really don't get it. 3 weeks now. It may even be longer than that. I honestly have lost count. 3 weeks. The fucking War Raiders have not been on WWE TV. They relinquished the tag team titles in NXT because they're being moved to the main roster. Yet they're not being used on the main roster, so I question why they couldn't be used on Saturday night to do the deed for the Street Profits, making them look strong going over as new tag team champions. Fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. Io Shirai versus Shayna Baszler for the Women's Championship. And again, Roderick Strong versus Matt Riddle in the one sole non-championship match. So there you go. We'll go over everything you need for TakeOver. I'm quickly going to run through the preview predictions as soon as I get through this show, because there really wasn't much that happened tonight on NXT. So we'll save that for the end if you guys are interested in that. But NXT started off tonight with the go-home show for NXT Takeover XXV with Mia Yim versus Bianca Belair. This was the opening match for NXT tonight. A rematch of sorts from the last time we've seen these two in the ring a couple of weeks ago, where Bianca Belair actually tied up her hair accidentally in the ropes and got a cheap leverage pin over Mia Yim. I don't know what it is with Mia Yim. I cannot get behind Mia Yim. I can't. I don't know what it is. She just doesn't have it. And I mentioned that I don't know who she is. What is she? Who is she? I don't know what Mia Yim is. I don't know who Mia Yim is. She doesn't have it. Whatever Mia Yim is doing, it's not resonating with me. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. I don't know what it is. I hope she can turn that around quick, because she's good. I just don't know what type of identity Mia Yim has. Bianca Belair, self-explanatory. She's one of the best ones that they got there. And I look at Bianca Belair and I fear for her fucking main roster call-up whenever that's going to happen. I hope to God it doesn't happen, but eventually it will. And she'll be another one of those women that gets suppressed like a Ruby Riott and an Ember Moon. She'll be in the back, and then we'll be fucking bitching on social media. Where's Bianca Belair? Triple H is probably having another fucking mini stroke. This one was okay. It really wasn't anything all that special. Trash talking between Mia Yim and Bianca Belair. And a dropkick from Yim to Belair to start the match, knocking Bianca out of the ring. Then Bianca quickly comes back into the ring, tripping up Mia Yim, and went for a cover early. Both tried to get an advantage off the ropes, running the ropes, dodging each other back and forth. Yim with a chop block right to the kneecap. Rolling cannonball in the corner and a cover for only a 2 count. Some stiff kicks by Yim. They were eventually blocked by Belair. And Belair turned those kicks into a double chicken wing submission. Yim fought out and ate a great clothesline from Belair. I love Belair's intensity. Belair with this was the best part of the whole match, a delayed vertical suplex. And while she had Mia Yim up in the vertical suplex, feet straight up in the air, Bianca Belair, the beast that she is, was doing squats with Yim in the suplex position. Awesome. Yim went for a tarantula. Right out of Tajiri's playbook. Yim went for the tarantula in the corner. Did not get it fully applied from what I seen. It was not fully applied. Bianca went back on the attack. Bianca really playing up that she's better than Yim with some lackluster covers. The lackadaisical covers. The foot on your opponent. No leverage pin. No hooking of the leg. Just very, very, I don't give a shit cover because I'm better than you. Yim went for several pinfalls and could not get Bianca. out of frustration. Stiff forearm shot by Belair, and Yim kicked out. Bianca went for another double chicken wing. Yim forced Belair out of the ring. Bianca quickly comes back into the ring, followed by an overhead belly-to-belly by Yim for a very close near fall. Code Red. Everybody's pulling out a Code Red nowadays, which Nigel called Code Yim. That was for a near fall. Yim got eat to feet, and Belair rolled to the outside, which was a very, very wise maneuver. Belair gained the advantage on the outside after Yim chased like a dumbass, and Belair drove Yim into the apron with a full Nelson slam face first. Yim made the referee's 9 count, and Belair started to throw Yim around, went for a power bomb. I believe it was a power bomb. I don't know if it was her alley-oop move that she does or a legit power bomb, but Yim fought out, grabbed Bianca's braid, and drove her into an eat defeat. So it was as if she was fucking Indiana Jones or Nathan Drake in Uncharted, swinging from Bianca's braid, gave herself a leverage force into the eat defeat, or it looked more like the knee, but I'm going to say eat defeat anyway, for what the announcers were calling the biggest win of Mia Yim's career in NXT. At least they put over Bianca Belair in the process. If this was the biggest win for Mia Yim in NXT, I'm assuming that makes Bianca Belair a pretty damn good, tough opponent for Mia Yim. So at least they didn't bury Bianca Belair here. It was another cheap victory in the women's division, and Mia Yim did what she had to do. You know, it's there. If they allow Bianca to use the braid in the match, Mia Yim could use the braid to her advantage as she sees fit. So, it's all fair and game. So there you go. Mia Yim wins. Very lackluster match. Nothing out of the ordinary. And Mia Yim gets her win back over Bianca Belair. NXT with the unlikely and the rare 50-50 booking. We had Kushida versus Drew Gulak. This was a submission wrestling fan's wet dream. I barely even took notes on this because it was literally, I believe Nigel mentioned, this was a human game of chess. That's all it was. Literally, for the first 6 or 7 minutes, that's all this was. Submission holds. So many submissions, reversals, counters. I honestly didn't even fucking attempt to take notes on this thing. Chain wrestling early, Gulak doing what Gulak does best. The first 3 minutes of this match were both Kushida and Gulak feeling each other out. That led to Kushida getting the advantage with a crossface side headlock for a little bit, into an abdominal stretch, and Gulak countered with a modified reverse figure 4. Kushida went for the hoverboard lock, but Gulak had it well scouted. He did not have the hoverboard lock Kushida applied completely, as Gulak was maneuvering his wrists and his arms around so that Kushida couldn't lock it in. Forearm by Gulak, followed by a flatliner by Kushida, and it looked like Kushida went for, or was about to go for, a camel clutch. Gulak tried to slide through Kushida's legs, but Kushida countered into a pinfall attempt, got the leverage pin, and the surprise 3 count over Drew Gulak. After the match, Gulak got in Kushida's face, calling him a coward and actually spelling out the word cowards because obviously Kushida has very broken English, and he was spelling it out for him, pretty much gloating to Kushida to do something. And Kushida, the humble guy, he got the victory. There's no reason to throw it in his face or egg him on. Gulak failed at this, and he called him a coward, and he went away and got out of the ring. There you go. That's all it was. If you're into submission wrestling, this is your match. I actually enjoyed Gulak's match with Matt Riddle a little bit more, but this was not bad for what it was, and Kushida gets his 3rd victory in NXT. There was a great video package with Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze just playing up their North American Championship match. Velveteen Dream sat with a selfie stick and cut a selfie stick promo. Says, Tyler Breeze, I remember you. And we see clips of Tyler Breeze time in NXT, and they even showed the announcement when he was at Full Sail and he was speaking in front of all of his peers on NXT, and they made the announcement that Tyler Breeze was getting called up to the main roster. You've physically seen the pain and suffering on Tyler Breeze's face, knowing this is the end of me. This is the end of me. It was a facial expression that You really didn't even need to put into words. You physically seen the pain on this guy's face. I'm fucked. I don't want to go. Please don't banish me to Monday Night Raw. Please. What did I do wrong? I gave you everything I had, and this is how you are repaying me. It was awful. It's very sad. It's very sad. And after hearing Moxley and what he talked about, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, Dream says he saw fear in Tyler Breeze's eyes. Yeah, of course. Anybody that's going to Monday Night Raw, you're going to have fear in their eyes. This is nothing new, Mr. Dream. And it was the last time he got a standing ovation. Dream says Breeze may have forgotten what it's like to have the spotlight on him, but that's all Dream has been in as of late. So we see their encounter from last week, which was fucking great. Tyler Breeze looked like a star in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, they made him look more like a star than WWE has made him look in 3 fucking years on the main roster. Tyler says he was a staple in NXT and will push Dream out of the spotlights. And what drives him is that North American Championship. This is Tyler Breeze's second shot at the North American Championship. He did one against Ricochet. Great match. I'm expecting these two to tear the house down on Saturday night. I don't think Tyler Breeze is going to capture the North American Championship, which we'll discuss in a little bit, but I'm looking forward to this match very much on Saturday night. Baszler was asked about the attack from Io Shirai with the kendo stick. Io was pretending to be the Sandman, or channeled her inner Sandman from ECW last week. Baszler says at TakeOver Shirai isn't allowed to have any weapons, and she's all out of friends. But I have my friends with me. Io has nobody. Main event. We got Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus the Forgotten Sons, Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. Danny Burch and Wesley Blake started off aggressively. Burch with a drop kick into the corner on Wesley Blake. And that was pretty much it. Burch tagged out. Oney Lorcan came in. Goes to work on both Cutler and Wesley Blake. Riker on the outside. A budding fucking ball of charisma is Jackson Riker. He trips up Lorcan on the outside. Blake smacks Lorcan from behind. Referee sends Riker to the back, kicks him out from the ringside area. And as he goes up the stage, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins attack Jackson Riker on the stage. Then they get in the ring, and the match is completely thrown out and labeled a no contest. This leads to all the teams in the NXT Tag Team Championship ladder match that will not be featuring the War Raiders on Saturday night. All the teams are out there. Post-match, Forgotten Sons clear out the ring. They got steel chairs. They're fucking whacking steel chairs around. So, weapons, ladders, chairs, tables, it's all legal on Saturday night. So, they got the heads up on everybody here in this match with steel chairs. Riker nods in approval from the stage, because clearly he was up there being beaten down by the Street Profits earlier on. So O'Reilly and Fish come to the ring, and they beat up everybody. They beat up Wesley Cutler, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. Undisputed Era stand tall. Cole sees Riker on the stage, so they take care of everybody in the ring. They see Jackson Riker on the stage, and Cole proceeds to go under the ring and get a ladder. So, all 4 members of Undisputed Era, they're carrying this ladder. 4 men carrying one huge ladder. They use it as a battering ram right into Jackson Riker, take him out. Then they stand above Jackson Riker's broken body. Kyle O'Reilly makes a huge fucking big deal about Jackson Riker still moving after the battering ram shot. This hilarious facial expression on Kyle O'Reilly's face. It's like, how the fuck? He didn't even say anything. It was one of those expressions like, how the fuck is this guy moving? So they take the ladder as a 4-piece again, pick it up, and drop it right across his back. Then they set the ladder up, and with Jackson Riker still laying on the stage, they set the ladder underneath Jackson Riker. He's literally underneath the ladder. That's 7 years bad luck. You don't want to do that. Or is it if you break a mirror, it's 7 years bad luck. Either way, you shouldn't be walking under ladders. I remember, speaking of which, if you guys remember at WrestleMania 10, when Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon have that classic ladder match to determine who is the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. Razor Ramon walked down the aisle at Madison Square Garden with his gold dripping around his neck, and he does the fucking machismo thing underneath the ladder. And Jerry the King Lawler, who was on commentary, was going crazy. He's a dummy. He walked underneath the ladder. That's bad luck. Could that play a factor into him losing this ladder match tonight at Madison Square Garden? Clearly, he was the one who went on to victory and defeated Shawn Michaels. But I thought it out immediately when I seen this. Jackson Ryker just laying underneath the ladder. Adam Cole climbs up, and he mentions Matt Riddle. He mentions Johnny Gargano. Clearly, Undisputed Era took out all the teams in this ladder match for the tag team titles. And he says, Gargano and Matt Riddle. He points to Jackson Ryker. This is undisputed. And that's pretty much it. At TakeOver, this will be undisputed. That's the way the show goes off the air. Very lackluster go-home show for NXT, but I think NXT... You know, NXT is one of those things where they rarely do anything bad. So it's not like, you know, it was a bad show. It's just they're rushed to get to TakeOver on Saturday night. And I think after Saturday night, they're going to have so many weeks of build. They have all this time to tell the stories that they want. So instead of giving us a card that is comprised of, you know, feuds that are happening very quickly and a rematch for the NXT title and a tag team championship situation that could have been avoided and really meant something if Vince McMahon didn't fuck over the War Raiders. You know, I honestly think this is going to be a great show, but NXT is going to have so many weeks of build going into SummerSlam weekend. I'm not really concerned about it. We get a TakeOver out of it. At least we got one good show this week. So that is my thoughts on that. Very lackluster, but I'm very much looking forward to TakeOver 25. Now, as far as the preview and predictions, quickly, for the NXT Championship, Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. I am honestly going with Adam Cole to win the NXT Championship. I don't know why. I don't have a particular reason to explain to you guys as to why I think Adam Cole is going to win. The only thing I could possibly say is I don't think Undisputed Era are winning the Tag Team Championships, and I don't think Roderick Strong is beating Matt Riddle. And if I was a betting man, I would not sit here and think that Undisputed Era is going 0 for 3 at TakeOver. If Roderick Strong loses and the Undisputed Era, O'Reilly and Fish, lose in that ladder match, I don't see Adam Cole losing. So I'm going with Adam Cole by hook or by crook. In some weird fucking way, he's going to beat Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole is finally going to be the NXT champion. And it's a long time coming. So I honestly think that Johnny's fairy tale is coming to an end on Saturday night. The Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai. This is a standard one-on-one match. Shayna Baszler is the only two-time NXT Women's Champion. I am going with Io Shirai. I just don't see... Baszler survived TakeOver New York. I don't see her surviving Io Shirai. Now, I know I've been on record saying this time and time and time again, but I will not be saying it here because I just don't want to see it at this point, just seeing the nature of the main roster. But Shayna has done so much for NXT, and there's really no more that she could do. And I honestly think it's Io's time. And I think out of everybody else that wants a shot at that title, Shayna has run through everybody. And I think it's about time that Shayna gets her shit pushed in. And I'm going with Io Shirai to win the Women's Championship. I think we will see a new Women's Champion on Saturday night. My pick is Io Shirai. NXT Tag Team Championship situation. I mentioned I am very frustrated with the fact that the War Raiders have not been used on the main roster, so there's no reason why they should not be used here. I would have loved if the War Raiders and the Street Profits had a standard tag team match, 2-on-2, on Saturday night with the Street Profits going over. We could have seen the Street Profits go over on NXT TV on the way out, but WWE clearly didn't do that because I'm assuming they have plans for both Hanson and Rowe. And seeing that they have not been used on the main roster, this frustrates me to no end, but I'm not going to let it get in the way of what is going to be a great tag team title match. This is a star-making moment for everybody in this match. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, they challenged the Undisputed Era in Chicago last year, one of the best tag team matches all year. They are back in contention. Oney Lorcan was out for several months with an injury, leaving Danny Burch all by himself. They're back. They're a great Cinderella team. The Forgotten Sons were the MVPs of the Dusty Classic this year, so I'm looking forward to them breaking out in this thing. We got the Undisputed Era, they're self-explanatory, one of the best tag teams in the world, and the Street Profits, who every single time, especially as of late, 2 times tried to get an opportunity at the tag team titles, and 2 times they were unsuccessful. If the Street Profits do not win this match, this is it for them. If the Street Profits do not win this match, I fear A, people are not going to give a shit about them as much as they do now. B, they're going to get called up to the main roster. And they'll probably be put on SmackDown Live. And I don't want that. I'm going with the Street Profits because they pretty much have to. They have to do it. And I think it would be a huge crowning moment and a moment that is going to pop that fucking crowd into oblivion. And man, I can't wait to see Montez Ford do a fucking frog splash off a 30-foot ladder. Because I know I'm going to pop. And Bridgeport, Connecticut better fucking pop too. I'm going with Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, new tag team champions in the Street Profits. And I think it's time. They're the most over team in NXT. Give them what they've been searching for all these months. It's just been eluding them. There needs to be a payoff. And the Street Profits' payoff is the tag team championships. Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. I'm going with Matt Riddle because Matt Riddle had been on the receiving end of an attack from the Undisputed Era when he teamed with Johnny Gargano and the Bloody Slipper. Roderick Strong beat him up in the parking lot, presented the Bloody Slipper to Adam Cole. I'm going with Matt Riddle here. Matt Riddle lost to the Dream at TakeOver in New York, and I don't see Matt Riddle losing 2 takeovers in a row. Now, I know he's kind of bulletproof, and he's going to be an NXT champion anyway, but I honestly think after Saturday night, Matt Riddle is going to be the next in line for an NXT championship. So I see him beating Roddy and then targeting Adam Cole. That's just my thought on that. I'm going with Matt Riddle. And then the Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze. I want to say Tyler Breeze because what a fucking moment that would be, huh? What a moment that would be for Tyler Breeze if he won the North American Championship, but I don't see it happening. I think Tyler Breeze was merely used because this is an anniversary show. You know, they're labeling it as such with the 25 theme behind it. It's more of an anniversary show. Tyler Breeze is a NXT staple. He's an NXT OG. He's an NXT alum. And there really is nobody on the main roster outside of a Tyler Breeze that would fit into this position against the Velveteen Dream. There really is nobody else more perfect than Tyler Breeze to fit into a match with the Velveteen Dream right now. It's either Tyler Breeze or someone like Tyler Breeze or someone on NXT that you want to rush right to the championship spotlight, which would have been a Dominik Dijakovic. But I think we got the... Now, I don't want to say that Dijakovic's injury is good for TakeOver. I think Dijakovic was coming into his own. But honestly, the way you got to look at it is his injury came at a great time for Tyler Breeze. It actually came as a great time for us fans, too, because we're getting the better match. This was supposed to be Dijakovic. And we're getting Tyler Breeze now to replace Dijakovic. That's a great fucking replacement right there. Again, I'd love to see Tyler Breeze win the championship in shocking fashion, but I don't think it's going to happen. Dream has defeated Riddle. He's going to beat Tyler Breeze. It's going to be interesting who they take, and put in that spotlight to take the title off of Velveteen Dream. It's very interesting. He's coming into his own. He's really hitting his stride. He's one of the more popular guys in NXT. And I think this is going to be a great match. Crowd's going to be behind both men, but in the end, I'm going with a Purple Rainmaker on Tyler Breeze, and Velveteen Dream retains the North American Championship. What we get going into SummerSlam, that's anybody's guess. But I'll tell you what, man. I recently caught the Tommaso Ciampa documentary, Part 2. Documenting his injury and his recovery and what he's doing now post-surgery. And, man, I miss Ciampa. Now, I don't want to say NXT needs Ciampa, but, man, Ciampa is sorely missed. His character and what he brings to this brand it's sorely missed. And I can't wait for him to come back. Just watching that just made me think, man, how great he fucking is. And I hope he comes back 100% and just picks up right where he left off. What a brilliant fucking performer. Really. Can't wait to see what he does. Go and check that out, man. It's on the WWE YouTube channel, the PC YouTube channel, Part 2. But I can't wait for TakeOver, man. It's going to be a great show. Obviously, I'll be right here on Saturday night with the review. We'll go over it in depth, as always. But thank you guys so very much for all your support. This has been Off the Script for NXT. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys are following me on social media at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Go check out all the other videos that you might have missed. Off the Script Extra. That was backstage news following Double or Nothing, the Double or Nothing podcast as well. Raw, SmackDown, obviously tonight with NXT, and the interview from StarCast, Double or Nothing weekend with Private Party, one of AEW's newest and hottest tag teams in their tag team division. Go and check all that stuff out. Link is in the top right corner of the screen. Thank you guys so very much for all of your support. Hit that thumbs up, and I will see you guys right here on Friday, where we will dissect Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho and everything that Moxley said on Talk is Jericho as far as WWE creative and his time in WWE. Thank you guys so much again. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you right back here for episode 276 on Friday for Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.